And we are back, episode number 30 of the Daru Strong Podcast. Did you guys miss me? Today, we're going to be talking with my man, my partner in crime, Mr. Mo Vaughn. Now, Mo Vaughn is a professional, or was a professional baseball player, played for the Red Sox, played for the Twins and the Mets. He's going to go over his entire career on what he did to accomplish what he's accomplished, and also what he's doing now as far as working with the athletes that he's working with the youth athletes that we are working with here at Boston Sports Performance and Daru Strong Training Systems. We have matched together, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we do so, you know I have to shout out the sponsors, Revive MD, ReviveSubs.com. Go check them out. Go check out my very own Phil Daru Athlete Stack that you can get now for 20% off if you go ahead and sign up with the discount code DaruStrong20. I have collagen, I have vitamin D3, we have fish oils, everything that's going to enhance your recoverability and your ability to perform well as an athlete. So go ahead, check it out, and make sure you hit that discount code for that 20% off offer. And also, if you are a coach looking to learn my methods and protocols that I use with all of my athletes, and you get that access year-round, over and over again, oh, may I say this? You're going to get this for life. So if you go ahead, sign up one time, you'll get it for life. I'll keep adding things on there each and every week, each and every month, and each and every year, because I always like to evolve. So you'll get access to that again for life and yearly if you decide to do so. Also, my body armor program. I know you guys, some of you don't have access to a gym yet. I know the pandemic is crazy. So go ahead and check out my 8-week body weight only program. Body armor is now on sale, and I'm going to keep it on sale for you guys because I know you're going through it. So again, check it out. Link in the description, or you can go to darustrong.com to see all of my programs laid out for a discounted price for the Halloween, I guess you would say, holiday, right? The holidays are coming up, so I'm going to be extra gracious and give you guys that % off. So go ahead, check it out on my website. And now, let's get on to the interview with Mo Vaughn.
Welcome to the Daru Strong Podcast. Daru Strong Podcast.
Let's go. Mind over matter. Put your mind somewhere else and keep going. That little voice in your head is trying to stop you from getting to where you want to be. Be successful and keep moving forward.
With your host and world-renowned strength and conditioning coach, Phil Daru.
All right, so here we are, my man Mo.
What's up, baby?
And he's right down the hallway. If you guys haven't seen any of my YouTube videos, check out our YouTube video that we did where he actually showed me how to hit a baseball. This man knows how to smash baseballs out the fucking park. So go ahead, Mo. I know a lot of people obviously know who you are. My dad thought it was crazy that I was actually working with you. I know he's from Boston. Go ahead and tell the people that don't know you, or, you know, again, the new kids on the block, who you are and how you got started in your rise in the baseball community.
Well, I'm Mo Vaughn. I'm a retired Major League Baseball player. I played in the league 13 years.
Yeah.
I came out of college. We came out of Seton Hall University, got drafted in the first round of 1989. I played a lot of sports as a young kid. You know,
Yeah.
I played football, basketball, and baseball. And I thought that really helped, you know, me, you know, in my progression. Nowadays, you know, there's so much specialization. Like, I have an 8-year-old son, you know, that strictly just plays baseball.
Yeah.
And with all the teaching and the methods and the training, you know, you see why a lot of young 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids are coming up to the big leagues and having success.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much more information. There's so much more knowledge. Guys like you walking around that are tops in their fields, you know. For, you know, right now we're at the, you know, at the Vaughn Sports Academy. The fact that you're in here working, you know, with me, you know, we have a collaboration. That young people even get the chance to rub up elbows with you and learn how to train and train the right way. And that's the most important thing. But for me, you know, I got drafted. I went to the minor leagues for 2 years. I got up to the Boston Red Sox in 1991. And then things just took off from there. I have a lot of respect for the combat athlete. And here's why: because everything you do at a high level, you have to have a warrior mentality.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get in there and fight mentally to get what you want to get to. Playing in Boston is very, very tough. A tough media market. I was there in the 90s. We hadn't won a damn thing, and you don't play well, you're gonna get booed. That's just the Northeast mentality. So it's one of those things where you have to be strong. In baseball, it's a marathon.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 6-month season. You're gonna have your ups and downs, but you gotta be mentally prepared to come in and fight and get what you want out of the game. I won an MVP in 1995. Went to the playoffs a couple of times, but for me, it was just going out there every day. I hit third in the order. It's a tough spot.
Yeah.
You're always going to be in the spotlight. You got to be able to say, hey, he got me today, but I got to come back tomorrow. But I love walking around. Coming here, you brought a lot of the UFC mentality, UFC attitude. I think my young ball players need to be around people like that. That hey, they're gonna take one in the face, but they're gonna give one too.
Yeah, I think. But you kind of held that same type of mentality as a baseball player too, as well. And with baseball, I've seen that you have to have a large amount of capacity. Like, you have to be able to do multiple things each and every day, because you guys got games going like almost double headers, triple headers sometimes. So you have to be prepared and be ready to go every single day. So it is a longer haul. It's like a marathon in baseball.
You got 21 days in 6 months.
Yeah.
21 days off.
Damn.
So
That's a lot.
you gotta be mentally,
That's a lot of games.
physically prepared to play.
Yeah.
There's no rest.
Yeah.
You get yourself in a slump, you better get out of that slump.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're gonna be sitting on the bench. So it's just it's a slow moving, but you got to be mentally strong each day to make it in the big leagues.
For sure. I definitely want to know, because of the fact that you're talking about, like, with the strength and conditioning side of things and how it's impacted the young kids nowadays and how they're coming up. How was it, growing up at the time you grew up and trying to be the best baseball player you could be without those means, without those, that help of having that quality training going on at that time?
I actually had a trainer when I played, and I put, a weight room in my house.
Oh, nice.
And I had a batting cage also.
Nice.
I needed to be doing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's just so much more advanced. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the few things that you taught me about, the sled work and different, these dynamic movements. They didn't have that when we were playing.
Yeah.
I got it. I had to retire from the game in 2003 due to a knee injury.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that though first, because that was a crazy injury.
I fell and I got just I moved over to Anaheim the year 2000. First play of the game in Anaheim, I went for a pop fly. I didn't know where I was. I fell and I landed on my ankle and knee in the dugout, and I wish I had broken my ankle. Yeah. I didn't. I tore a lot of muscle in the ankle. I also compressed my knee joint. On top of it, before that, I had 3 arthroscopic surgeries.
Yeah.
So I had no cartilage, bone spurs, the whole 9 yards. I then had to sit out the first 6 weeks. I came in, it was my left knee, and so I'm a lefty hitter, so I'm sitting on this leg. I can't do it, so I start hitting off my front foot, and then I blow my bicep out.
Now, is that because of the fact that the mechanics were off
because of the fact that the mechanics are off in the knee?
Yeah.
I started to compensate and do other things.
Makes sense, yeah.
And this is what happens. So you look, 4 or 5 years later, I'm retired and out of the game because I can't get my knee back to normal. I can't get it fixed. I'm not able to rotate and generate. And I hit close to the plate. I wanted the game brought to me.
Yeah.
So I'm on top of the plate, and I can't do certain movements to protect myself.
Yeah.
And I got out.
Yeah.
I got out. But, that's either here nor there.
Yeah.
you move on in life and you learn from that. But it's just one of those things where it's so important to me now, knowing what I know now, that these kids start young, get the training, because you could have the same two kids with the same strength, same size, same athletic ability. Whoever's stronger is the one that's going to make it.
Yeah.
And that is what has to be understood.
Yeah. That's in all
through
things.
all sports.
Yeah, that's in all things.
In all
for
sports.
Sure. I think that's why me and you kind of connected there. We connected a while back when I started training you, then training your daughter, and then now we're here. But I would say that for the most part, looking at the kids now, just developing a base of strength, athleticism, coordination, balance, control, it does carry over. But that was such a freak accident that you had. I don't even think that even with the strength training, because of that, I think maybe it was more so the fact that you were in a different area, your surroundings were different. You just got traded, right?
No doubt. I was out of sorts. I was in a new place.
Yeah.
I just signed a huge contract. I'm trying to make plays in the stands I shouldn't make. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when I got hurt, like micro fracture was just coming out. And I flew around. I went to Colorado. I went a couple places to get stuff done. But it was all preliminary stuff. No one really knew how to treat the knee.
Wow. Okay.
So now, though, it is so far in advance, and probably if maybe I could have, maybe with today's new style and scope of training and all the advances, I may have been able to come back. You never know.
For sure. Definitely with technology nowadays, stem cell, PRP, obviously it was a severe injury and you could have came back a lot faster, I believe. Right. And then obviously with the training, the proper strength and conditioning, getting the body back after physical therapy, it'd be a lot faster of a recovery. Do you feel, a lot of talk about like the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. Do you feel that was something that was the cause of you not making it there, or what was going on with that?
You need longevity.
Yeah.
All my friends, Frank Thomas, Jeff Bagwell, all these guys that are there, they played 16, 17, 18,
That's
20
crazy.
years.
That's crazy.
I
That's a lot of years.
I got 13 years of service, but I actually only played 12 years because I always had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
But you make it to the Hall of Fame, it's longevity. And I feel if I had played my 16, 18 years, I would have had the numbers.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's the cutoff right there, like 16 years?
I think it's 16, 17. Listen, you come up and you're 21, 22 years old, you play 18 years, play till you're 40. Yeah. It's there.
I feel like that's unfortunate because that time that you spent, that 12 years that you were there, you made a lot of noise in that 12-year span. So it's unfortunate. It's almost unfair in a way. And, to the degree, I always feel like you're a Hall of Famer in my mind.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Listen, I have no regrets. I've learned a lot. Now I'm 53 years old. I got an 8-year-old boy that plays the game. My daughter's 16 years old, playing tennis. And all the positives and negatives that you learn from being an athlete, it's my time to give to them. And I'm very much happy in what I'm doing that.
Sure. Yeah, no, 100%. What do you think, because you have made it to the highest level and you were successful there, obviously you know how to be successful there. What would you give as far as advice for the young athletes coming up? What do you think is the biggest thing that they need to learn to do to get to the highest level?
Athletes need to focus. I think I wasn't regimented when I played.
Yeah.
I wish I had been more regimented. Know what you are as an athlete and work on those skills. Come up with a regimen, a plan of action. They weren't talking about, nutrition as much as they're talking about nutrition now. You know how to dial in somebody correctly on all fronts. Mentally, physically, nutrition-wise, the focus. All those things are a big package to being successful. I don't care whatever sport playing. You look at these guys that are running Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
They're the same way also. There's a regiment. There's a way to go about it. There's a structure. Kids need structure. They didn't know how to take it from A to Z. Like I was thinking about this yesterday. I made this quote about hitting is like an algebra problem. If you don't do all of the calculations in the beginning right, you can't get to the answer. And that's what anything in life is about. No matter what you're doing, no matter how you're training, there's a structure of getting from A, B, C, all the way down line, to Z. And knowing that structure, knowing yourself, and you're gonna have to sacrifice. You're gonna have to sacrifice to get what you want. You're not a regular person. You're not a regular kid. You're not a regular young woman or young man. To get to where you want to go, you're gonna have to sacrifice to get there.
Gotcha. I mean, so how many injuries have you had throughout your career?
I had 3 knee surgeries, plus I wound up with the bone spurs and the compressed joint. I had the torn biceps, and basically, for me though, it was like I was taught old school. Cat by the name of Michael Eastler from the Pittsburgh Pirates taught me how to play the game. He's a descendant from Willie Cap Stargell from the Pirates who taught him. Our biggest thing is about being available. I knew if I walked to the plate 600 times, I'm going to drive in. I'm going to hit 300. I'm going to drive in 100 runs, and I'm going to hit 30 home runs. Availability is the key stat in the game, in any game, in any sport. Are you available every day? Can your teammates count on you every day to be successful? And that was my biggest thing. Before I got hurt, I was averaging 155 out of 162 games a year, and that's what you need. Yeah,
and that's a lot of fucking games, man. Like, just to be able to do that on a consistent basis. It's almost like the WWE wrestlers, they do that a lot.
They take a beating. They're running around the country 11 months a year.
Yeah,
and they take a beating.
I always say, like, that's baseball. You have to have that ability to sustain throughout the years,
and take it. You got to take the positive, negatives. You can't be like a heartbeat. You got to be like a steamship, just coasting along, steady as you go.
Yeah.
To play the game of baseball, you got to be steady as you go.
It kind of reminds me of like when I do personalities, and I measure out personality traits with the Braverman's test, and I always see like a large amount of GABA dominant or acetylcholine dominant individuals where they're very focused and organized, and they're team orientated or family orientated, but they're able to sustain an even amount of personality, or they're never up and down, right? That's always even.
Look at how we are.
Yeah.
We met a few years back, and I tell you this all the time. We just, the connection was there. I don't know. We were like lost brothers. I don't know. The connection has always been there. But look how we run our business.
Yeah.
We're very consistent as men.
Yeah.
We work together as partners. We promote a great working environment, but we always are in control.
Yeah.
Never can get out of control.
Never.
We're leading a big ship of people to get to a goal.
Yeah.
And that's why we were saying the other day, we sit in the office, we can't have the groups at odds. We're never at odds.
No.
So how the hell can anybody else be at odds?
Yeah.
We got to run our operation how we run it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a trait that we have.
For sure. No, 100%. So, with that being said, do you feel as a leader that is a what types of attributes would you look upon as a leader to lead, whether it be a team, a business, a family? What do you think are like the key factors of being a leader?
The key factor, number one, is no excuses.
Yeah.
When you lead, you have to be willing to take the heat. When I was in Boston, a very, very tough media market, I knew there were some guys that just could not take the heat.
Yeah.
And I created things. I did things to take the heat off of them, because I knew that's how I was going to get the best out of them. I look at my team right now, how I talk to certain. I can't talk to my son the same way I talk to another person.
Yeah.
My son is very tough mentally, so I can dig into him a little bit. Somebody else, you gotta know how to be the glue to a bigger thing.
Yeah.
But the main thing is we have to set the example, and we can't make excuses. Even though sometimes we know it's not our fault, it still is our fault, and we got to represent that so they know. And then we take somebody behind the back and say, listen, this is what really happened, and this is why I need you to be this.
Yeah.
But the grand scheme, we got to take the responsibility.
For sure.
And I think that's the way that it goes.
That's a good point. Like I always talk about creating that ownership and understanding what needs to be done on all fronts, but always making sure that you're responsible for your actions and your actions of your people.
Right.
With that, you know, you've seen a lot in the sport and being in the industry. What was like the most craziest thing? I mean, there's probably a couple, but what does you think being in Boston and being over there in Anaheim and also with the Twins too, right?
I was with the Mets.
With the Mets. And that's probably crazy too, because it's New York.
Right.
What was like the craziest time or craziest thing you've seen in baseball at the moment that you were in it?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it was just our life.
Yeah.
Our lifestyle of going on the road for 2.5 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
We're out there on a West Coast trip. You're living in hotels.
Yeah.
You're out to eat. Yeah. You're probably doing a little bit too much nightlife.
Yeah.
Things that you're doing.
Where's Kyle at?
Kyle. But I think, thinking about it right now, the amount of hangers-on
Okay.
that you come across, in mine only a 12-year span, and that I see now at 53 years old, like, what the hell was I doing?
Yeah.
And that's what we all got to navigate on that level.
Yeah.
How many people, they always tell you, your mother and father always tell you, your good friends you can count on one hand. Well, how many people were around me and at that time that really shouldn't have been?
Yeah.
And that's what we got to learn as athletes, how to navigate who is really in it for us. And one of the other things is people love athletes.
Yeah.
They love them. Fortune 500 companies will do anything with athletes. And I made a hell of a lot of mistakes when I was playing. But athletes, if you do it right and understand that you are a business, you are a business entity as an individual, you can set yourself up for life.
Yeah. I mean, you've done that. I believe, like with the businesses that you have. Do you feel like there's a lot of guys that are trying to obviously leech off that individual, not knowing the fact that or the athlete not knowing the fact that they're trying to do that?
I think we got to always be prepared not to read our press clippings.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Reiterate a little bit.
What I mean by that is, why did people really like me in Boston? Yes, I'm a good man. I'm a strong man. I think I'm a good, respectable dude. I'm not perfect, but I'm a man's man. But ultimately, if I don't do my job, we can't sit here and talk.
Yeah.
And I think people forget. They start reading their press clippings. They start thinking that they're doing something. They're indispensable.
Yeah.
They're not. I retired in 2003. There's been how many other first basemen that have played since I left? You're an entity.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more 50 years later. And when you die, the Boston Red Sox are going to be around, and that next guy's going to step up. Yeah. So we have to maximize our value when we're there and realize, take advantage of the full aspect of being a professional athlete. You only get to do it a short time. You need to take advantage of that and absorb everything you can to set yourself up for later. And that's how you got to start. How you got to
I love that. I love that. Because that could be in anything in life, honestly.
Right.
If you get a good opportunity, make sure that you engulf in that particular opportunity. Make sure that you're making the best out of that so that it can set you up for further opportunities down the line.
Especially as athletes, we only get to play a short time. Mm-hmm. I mean, UFC guys, I think, how many years do they get to actually play, actually go out there and fight? You're not doing it for 10, 15 years.
Nah, very, very rarely.
So football is probably, 3 years?
At the most.
Baseball's maybe tops 3 years, 5 years. Mm-hmm. There's a lot less NBA guys. Mm-hmm. So when you're in that, hockey's tough.
Yeah.
How long do you actually really get to play at the optimum level? Mm-hmm. It's not a long time.
Yeah.
So we got to really optimize that time, outline what we want to do, and realize we got to think about the afterlife. Mm-hmm. When I retired, I was like, it took me 3-4 years to get out of that.
Yeah.
I was hit, I was hurt, I was down, I was out of it. I was probably, even though I don't talk about the word depression too much, probably was depressed.
Yeah.
Because you weren't thinking that way.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm going to do this forever.
Yeah.
And we got to realize there's a short window, and we got to maximize everything that we get at that time.
Yeah, nothing's forever.
Nothing.
Yeah.
But you think it is.
Nah, for sure. At that moment, you're in it.
You're trucking like a diesel truck, and you're not thinking anything can stop you.
But you know what, though? I do believe that is something that is important to have, because you're not all in and your focus may be elsewhere. So
True.
There has to be, but again, you also have to make sure that you understand that it's not forever, but be focused in the now. Right. So that you could be the best that you can be in that position.
Right.
But then again, you also have to make sure that things are put into place.
There's a fine line. Mm-hmm. You can't get too offset thinking about later, because you're not going to focus on now. Yeah. But you have to have it in the back. I mean, I always knew when I was playing for, believe it or not, I always knew that I wasn't going to do it forever.
Okay.
And I was aligning myself business-wise while I was doing it.
Yeah. Well, you were focused.
I wish I was a little bit sharper. I still wasted too much money. I still did too many things. But I guess that's the law of life.
Yeah.
At 53, I always go, damn. If I was a little smarter 10 years ago, how much better life would be. Mm-hmm. But I think that's the life progression. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying, athletes, from my experience, please take advantage of the time you have at the ultimate level to set yourself up.
There you go. Yep. Again, it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with an opportunity that you get, whether it be in a job situation. If you're working for somebody and you're looking to be your own boss at some particular time, make sure that you're learning from those experiences.
Right.
Talk to your boss. Try to get friendly with your boss, and then you can learn and make sure that you're getting mentored by that individual, either good nor bad. You want to make sure that you have that ability to do that, because you could take it with you. Same thing, probably you learned a lot in baseball, how to actually run a business and how to structure out what you're doing now. Right. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with the real estate?
Okay. I got it when I retired in 2003. I was in New York. Mm-hmm. I got into what you call affordable housing real estate.
Yeah, to explain that though, because I didn't know what that was in the beginning.
Affordable housing real estate is where the federal government gives you tax credits.
Sure.
And city and state gives you bonds to fund multifamily housing,
nice,
which is needed across the country.
Yeah, for sure.
And now presently I own 17,000 units of that stuff.
That's wild.
Across the country as we speak. And you're revitalizing lives.
Yeah.
You're making lives better. We go in, we take an existing multifamily project. Mm-hmm. We come in, we give them new appliances. We do a roof. We do the brick pointing. We go into your apartment, new stove, new refrigerator, do your floors, paint. We bring everything up to code. Mm-hmm. And we own and operate these buildings. Mm-hmm. Again, I think one of my biggest attributes in life is I'm a facilitator. I know how to I look at one person and say, that guy connected with this guy, we can do this. My partner, Eugene Schnur, is the cornerstone of those projects. He really taught me how to work business. He's really been the cornerstone of building, our structure. But it's a great thing to help families who are disadvantaged, and we bring their properties up to snuff and create housing. And New York is full of affordable housing. All the big all the big cities and states, are full of affordable housing, which is needed across. Michael Bloomberg is a great friend of mine. He's the one that started me off with our first 289 units in the Bronx, and look at what has happened. But it's a great thing. And for me, when you accept money from the state and the feds, you have to go in and you have to talk to the mayors and city council people, and you really learn how to work with people to get things done. Okay. And I think that was one of my biggest learning experiences, was getting into that business, and we're still doing well today.
Now, essentially, you're changing these people's lives, but I know that you had to go to the higher ups to figure out the way to get it in there, and I know that it was Mayor Giuliani.
Right.
You had to talk with him.
Right. How
did you approach them with this whole idea? Were they receptive to it, or were they like,
Well, listen, that's the cachet of being an athlete at the time.
Yeah.
You use that cachet to get yourself in the door. Because like I told you, everybody wants to work with an athlete. Everybody wants to work with an athlete that has his stuff together. Yeah. So I got us in the door. We had the idea. Then you have to get a gate person that knows the business, which my partner did. Yeah. And we built this business. Nice. But it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You gotta get the right people around you. I have a big and tall clothing company. Yep. MVP, services, the big and tall guy across the country. We're made in USA. We do a lot of good stuff. But my partner has been in the business 25 plus years. So me, out of all things that I was good at, I could take that person over there, that person over here, and put together. That's why I seen you. Yeah. Boom, we lock up, and we create these bombs that work. And I think out of all the attributes that I have, that's the main one.
Yeah, you're a connector.
Yeah, I put it together, the team together, and I might, and then on the back end, then you go back and you learn the system. Yeah. But you got to connect the dots to get in, and then you move.
I think it's important to have somebody of that skill set to complement your skill set.
Right.
And that's why getting partners and getting people involved in certain things where they're very good at one thing, but they may suck at another, but you can complement what they suck at, and then from there. But it takes a large amount of self-awareness and then awareness of other people's strengths.
Right.
And that's what a leader really does too, well, as what I would think is the main thing. As a captain, as a leader, as someone who's managing the ship per se, right? So with that, what are we doing now? What's Mo Vaughn interested in? What is he looking to do further down the line? We're talking 5-10 years down the line.
Well, I've been fortunate to be in the real estate business, doing well. I'm in the clothing business, but now we are in the sports academy business. And I think out of all the things I've done, this is the most fun. I got my son and my daughter around here. Your son, Leo, knows my son.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And then now we're going to take your information, my information, our teamwork and strength and security and knowledge, and put it together. Yeah. And we're going to use athletics, meaning baseball or whoever. Yeah. Just like, we had, the Deerfield Beach High School football team in here.
Yep.
We don't care what it is.
Yeah.
We're going to teach you something about what it takes to be successful in whatever sport it is. But out of all the things I've done, and I never thought I was going to be a coach, this is the most rewarding. Is teaching young people how to, and for me, using the game of baseball, how to become better, stronger people in society.
Nice.
And that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And like for us right now, we're over here in Boca Raton. You and I, we got our place. We're actually working together. On the baseball and strength and conditioning side, we're getting ready to move you over there, but you can't go far. I told your office guys to stay over here because we got to see each other every day.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue to build this bomb of good people and good things.
Yeah,
and we're not going to let anybody. There are a lot of sour grapes out there for you and for me.
We know it.
That's the way it is. But we're not going to let anybody, take control. We're going to guide the ship the way that we need to guide it.
For sure.
And do what we got to do.
Yeah, no, that's 100% accurate, y'all.
We're going to guide it. We're going to guide it our way.
So listen, if you are in the South Florida area, come check us out. Vaughn Sports Academy, Daru Strong Performance Gym. I'll be over there, but I'm still here.
Exactly.
And we're going to build it up to astronomical feats. All right. So, Mo, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, bro.
All right.
Thanks. I love you. You know that.
Love you
Let's
too,
do
man.
it.
All right. Episode 30. We're out.